So, Dr. Monday, we start with you. My first question to you would be on the most promising COVID vaccines so far.
So it will be difficult to define the most promising COVID vaccine. I'll mention four of them, the ones that are considered to be front runners in the world right now. The first of them is promoted by a company called Moderna in US. That's a messenger RNA based vaccine. This is the approach that is being tried for the first time, and if successful, actually it will be quite revolutionary. There are two other vaccines which are very similar in nature. They use adenovirus vectors and they use spike protein as the vaccine is saying. And one is from Oxford and AstraZeneca that is being promoted, and that has actually entered phase 2, phase 3 clinical trials recently. A similar one is promoted by CanSino in China, a company called CanSino. That also is similar one. There is a slight difference in the vector that they use, these two. And the fourth one is promoted by Pfizer along with the German biotechnology company, and that also is a RNA-based vaccine. So they're the four front runners at this moment that have gone into clinical trials.
So, doctor, do we have a timeline by when these trials would be over? Because it is being said that Oxford's Covishield will be launched in India by November. Does this seem like a feasible timeline?
See, all depends upon what kind of results we get in the clinical trials. The phase 1 is over. Essentially, it has been shown that there are no untoward side effects on healthy people when you give it to them. But now comes a challenging phase in which people would be vaccinated, and we have to actually show that most of them don't develop COVID symptoms or whatever. So those trials have just begun for all these four of them or other three of them out of these. So this is a challenging phase we have just entered now, and it will take time. It will take about 4-5 months to assess the results of these particular trials. Only after that we'll be able to tell whether they can get into a field or not.
So let's stay hopeful that at least in the next 2-3 months we get to see some results. And with this, I come to you, Dr. Agarwal. Welcome to the Health Summit.
I want to add what Shekharji has said.
Yes, sure, doctor.
This virus is predictably unpredictable. This virus is causing post-COVID illnesses. That means we are getting cases who have fever after they have recovered from COVID, getting recurrent fever, recurrent hypercoagulable state. People are getting even cytokine crisis after they have recovered. We have seen people getting heart attack after they have recovered. They're getting fever, they're getting loose motions, they are getting loss of smell lasting for 3 months, 4 months. So when we get a vaccine, we have two important things in vaccine. A, immediately they should be able to prohibit the virus. B, they should also be able to prevent virus-related complications like cellular component, which is cytokine crisis. Then pneumonias, this is again part of cytokine crisis, hypercoagulable state and inflammatory state. This virus, because it is causing a post-COVID phenomena, so we also want to know that the vaccine which we are giving is also preventing delayed complications of the virus. Say, for example, Indian virus is live attenuated virus, what Covaxin we are talking about. It may prevent virus, may not prevent post-virus complications. So when we talk about the virus from adenovirus, it is only taking care of the spike protein. Are we 100% sure it is only the spike protein portion of the virus which is detrimental to our health? May not be. Maybe the spike protein is also only causing pneumonia. So will we be able to prevent loss of smell, loss of taste? So when we see this virus is behaving A, left eye involvement, B, loss of smell, loss of taste. They are single factor as the only manifestation of COVID. Some people have pneumonia, some people don't have pneumonia. Some people have loose motion, some people have GI symptoms, some people only have headache, some people only have cystitis. So whether the vaccine will be able to prevent all aspects of this virus complications, we don't know, because we still don't know which portion of the virus is causing what disease. We are presuming that whatever is the basic culprit is the spike. Is spike going to produce humoral antibodies or cellular antibodies? We don't know. So I don't find, unless we have given to volunteers a 1 year trial, that during 1 year after giving the vaccine, they have not developed chronic complications or they have not developed delayed complications. I don't think so this virus will become a universal virus. At this moment, a virus is being produced in haste only because the countries want to improve their economical status. No virus should be available unless you have tested long-term and delayed complications. We have seen Moderna, which has prevented the pneumonia, but it has not reduced the viral load. We don't know what will be the implication. We don't know. And we have seen the Oxford virus, which is showing both humoral and cellular immunity. How long it will last, we don't know. So at this moment, vaccine will come. Vaccine will come tomorrow. But how effective it will be, we are, as a medical profession, we are skeptical.